Hey guys, welcome to another design team layout for Crazy Craft Obsession. Crazy Craft Obsession is where I purchase the majority of my products and they support me and this channel. So if you're looking for any of these products, please by all means jump down in the description below and you will see a link to their store and make a purchase, say hi while you're there, all that sort of fun stuff. Now, everything in this video I have purchased from there, and starting off with the very quick fussy cutting at the beginning, and I made that really quick because I know no one wants to see that. I fussy cut the crepe paper Gingham Garden paper, and it is called Fresh Air. There is a number that goes along with it. I'll put that in the description in case you like the florals that you see. Now, I simply bought one sheet of paper and I've used everything else pretty much out of my own collection here that I've purchased over the past 12 months or so, but it's all still available online. Now, I'm going around. Now, I know people do the packaging technique in different ways. Now, what I like to do is scrunch up the plastic. So it's it's your packaging. It's the thicker plastic that you get around your, around your collections that you get. And I like to scrunch it. So that way I don't get just a big flat, when the ink disperses on the paper underneath the big flat bit, then you've got a big splotch of colour. I like to do mine sort of more in droplets like this. So you can see the colours I'm using there. I actually used Speckled Egg. These are Distress Oxides, by the way. Speckled Egg. I used Antique Linen, and I used Bundled Sage in the background. Now, if you've been here for 5 minutes, you know that I'm not a huge fan of splatters, right? But I do like splatters if I do them before everything gets put on the layout. I'm not a big fan of the splatters all over everything. So what I'm doing here is I've come in with some gathered twigs, and I'm thinking to myself, because that matches the collection really good. Okay, so all the outside and the fine work, the line work within the flowers, it actually matches really good. But I decided that I needed a bit more of a contrast. There needed to be a darker tone. So quite often when I'm looking at a layout, I like the colors, but there has to be a darker element to it. So if everything in it is black, well then obviously you incorporate a lighter color. So whether that's white to contrast, whether that's, you pick your color, you pick which one you like. But in this case, I'm starting off with a flat white cardstock. And I've started off with that as my base. I have fussy cut all my florals, and it did take me a few minutes to do it. Hence why I didn't do it on... There is no way anyone's got time to sit and watch someone fussy cut. I did pop a video up over on my Facebook group. I put a reel. I'm not real good at these reels and shorts. I'm a long form video person. That's just me, but I don't mind watching. I'll watch other people's short form videos, but I'm hopeless at making them. So yeah, I've got a bit of an idea in the back of my head though. So I've come in here with my mesh stencil. Now I got this a couple of kits ago, and it is generic and I love it. It's a darkroom door stencil and it's called Mesh. It's a small stencil and it is fantastic for creating texture in the background. Now, I'd slowed this a little bit down for you so you can see what I'm actually doing. This bit, I'm just going around with my gold metallic. It's a Uniball Signo Broad gold pen. It is beautiful. Glides like butter. Never have any issues with it. It is fantastic. Now, that being said, that I purchased that pen from Officeworks. That's where I get them from. It's just easier. Now, all of that being said, I've gone around the little clusters that I've cut out. So this was just one 12 by 12 sheet, right? And I've cut them all out, but I've left all the little extra bits on all the flowers and all the sprigs and all that. And in the 12 by 12 sheet, there was actually multiples of each one. So there was a couple that were in like just one of, but then there was a few that were the same. So what I decided to do was go around, add a bit of the metallic gold now, just so I've got a bit of a gold accent to play off on down the track once I jump in here with my craft knife, because it's just not going to be very easy. It's much easier to do this at the beginning and overdo a few extra pieces than try and do it afterwards. That's my theory. You do it your way, but that's what I sort of figured. And to be fair, look, I was making this layout at like 5 o'clock this morning because I've been up since 2, and I just went, you know what? I'm going to go and do this page because it's in my head, and I'm just going to do it. So I've sped it up a little bit here. Sorry, I kept this little bit slower to show you what I'm doing. All I'm doing is going where the gold lines are. I'm just cutting outside them and just flipping them up. So I'm not joining them on. So I'm just doing little sort of creating petals that I can lift up. So see how it's lifted up a little bit there? That's just going to create texture. This was a flat sheet of cardstock. You could do this with so many different florals. I know at the moment the Happy Days collection has some florals. There's this one, crepe paper. I'm not sure that this is a new collection. Kath, if you're watching, comment below, please. I don't think it's a new collection. I think it's one that's just been... Look, you guys know, when I buy things, I hardly ever buy a full collection of something. Very, very rare. Oh, Simple Stories. Okay, I tell a lie. Simple Stories, I quite often buy the full pack. Because I have become very partial to the Simple Stories collections. But this one, I just bought 1 or 2 sheets. That's all I got this month. And there was this one and there was another one. And I just wanted to sort of have a bit of a play. I was feeling a little bit floral because it's winter here in Australia. So as you can tell by my jumper. So it's kind of, for me, I wanted to, now I'm going to speed this back up again here, guys. So I cut it out nice and slow. Now I'm speeding it back up. I did not cut this fast, and no, I didn't actually cut myself doing this. So now what I'm doing is, you'd think I'm literally, I was having internet issues. I've got to be truthful with you on this one. It has taken my husband and myself literally all day. It is currently 5:39 p.m. This video was completely recorded by 9 a.m. and it's taken us till now to get to this point to have it loaded up. I don't know what has got, I don't know what is different. I truly have no clue. We tried my iMac, we tried my MacBook Air, which is brand new. We tried my husband's laptop. We tried everything and it just would not play the game. So I decided that I'm going to do the voiceover and see if it exports correctly. Now this is the fun bit. This is a bit where the texture paste is dry. I absolutely love this. I love the color of these flowers. They just, I know I do a lot of things that are really bright, but I also do a lot of things that are not so bright. And, you know, they're more of the subdued colors, you know, the more muted shades. And I absolutely love, 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 love how this turned out. This really, for someone scrapping at 5 a.m., trust me, it was, yeah, it took a bit. But I knew I wanted to get this done. So this one is, so what I basically do here is you know how you always hear about the rule of threes and, you know, 3 of everything is appealing to the eye. There's all different kinds of general templates you can use to start off a page. And to be honest with you, like, it's you can only reinvent the wheel so many times. Eventually you're going to find a style that you currently enjoy. That's the best way I can describe it to you. So for me currently, I'm really liking a diagonal that seems to be fitting with a lot of my photos. The ones that I'm doing at the moment, they're sort of it sort of lends itself to a diagonal layout. And what I decided to do with these is, because I had some that were doubled up, so what you can see me doing there is I'm just using my tweezers and I'm folding the leaves to give some extra texture. I'm adding some foam circles, foam tape underneath the sprigs and the flowers to give them a little bit of depth. And I'm creating a little nook at the bottom, on the bottom right and the top left. So like I said before, you've got your rule of threes. Usually if you're going to do something on a page, you try and, if you're struggling because something doesn't quite look right, generally if you readjust it and create a triangle with your focus being in the center of that triangle, that generally works. This one, I wanted the sort of the halo. It's not really a wreath. It's just a halo of color with the florals top and bottom. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. To be honest with you, actually, I've got to tell you, there is actually blue that matches the speckled egg beautifully on some of these leaves. I don't use speckled egg very much at all. What color ink do you guys like? You bought it and you are now surprised that you actually don't use it as much as you thought you would. Because I reckon speckled egg is the one that really, it's probably out of the distress. I'm going to, hang on, disclaimer, distress colors. So I use the distress inks and the distress oxides. And to be honest, with the oxides, I truly thought I would use speckled egg a lot more, but I don't. But I did on this one. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a shadow. So even though I've lifted up the petals and stuff, and I've gone around them with the gold, you still see the gold, but you also, now I'm using some walnut, is it walnut? I think it is. Walnut stain? Yes. That's what I ended up using on the edges, just to create that shadow, and I love that look. It's not something I do a lot of, the way that I scrap, but I do love it. I know someone that does this quite a bit, Laura, City Scrapper. She does this a lot and I love her layouts. They're stunning, but that's not my scrapping style. Occasionally I sort of go, you know what? I really like these florals and I'm going to go that direction this time. So when I cut these out, I knew that I wanted to go around the edges of them with the ink. I actually used to do this a lot when I made my mini albums, and I used to go around all the edges with everything with the ink, and I love doing that. But on my 12 by 12 layouts, I don't do it as much. Not as much anymore. Probably just the stage I'm at. Sorry about that. There was an alarm. Now, what am I doing? I am just literally, all I'm doing at this point is just going around and floofing up the bits that I've chopped. What I've done is I've actually put, so here you can see underneath there's a flower, and it is the exact same flower that is on the top of it. So when you look through it, you can still, you see, like, it's, how do you explain it? I've lifted it up so you've got two of the same flower, so it looks like you've got a lot more leaves and a lot more structure, and that's why I've literally left them. See, I'm just lifting them up and gluing. I didn't want to move things around too much because I had it sitting exactly where I wanted it, and I just love these floral clusters. They are stunning. So if you can get your hands on the crepe paper Gingham Garden, this particular one is called Fresh Air. Honestly, it is amazing. I know it's in stock at Crazy Craft Obsession, and I think it was only, I think it's about $2, $2.50 for a sheet. That's it. Like, it's not a lot. And look at this beautiful layout that I've managed to create using it. So now I've just used some American Crafts white textured cardstock, and I've just something I like to do is I like to match the colours. So because I've used walnut stain, I wanted to match the walnut stain around the photo. So see how it's bringing the walnut stain out of the flowers where I created the shadow. It's tying it all together. Now, the same colour is in the splatters around the outside, but because I splattered them down and then I let them sit there for a bit, then I removed the moisture, it's kind of like a watercolour of the walnut stain. So it's another tone of it. So then I decided I was going to go around the border, and I'm using my mint tape, which everyone has so kindly sent me so much of this, and I absolutely love them for it. It is, so this one, now be careful because I nearly ripped my leaf then. I was getting a bit excited. So I've gone through and I've just put down the mint tape. Now I wanted to do the thinnest border. I didn't want to do a big border, super thin. I think it's like an 1/8 of an inch, if that. Maybe it's a 1/16 of an inch. Like it is narrow. And I wanted to put this around the edge because I wanted it to have a delicate feel around the outside edge, because I think the whole layout is a delicate, gentle, soft layout. Even though my best friend in the photo, I made her hold her fork. She goes, look at my fork. We were at the Commonwealth Games and we were having lunch, and she's like, look at my fork. It's melted my fork. And the way she held it up, I said, just hold that for a second. And I took the photo and she's like, what are you talking about? And the way she was holding it looked like she was sticking up her nose. It was so funny. We had a good cackle. Good little cackle. It was funny. So here I've pulled out my PINKFRESH Studio Metallic Matte Gold Pearls. Now these are, I love these things. I'm finding that I'm hoarding them. That's not the aim of the game. The aim of the game is you don't hoard them, you use them. So I decided on this layout. I thought these would look really delicate, and they actually did. They come in 3, I think they're 3 sizes, maybe 4 in the packet, and they're about $8.50 for a pack. If you go over to the Crazy Craft Obsession, their store, they've got stacks of them in all different colors, glitters, metallics, mattes. Go to town. I really love the iridescent ones. They are stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Now, what you can see me dipping through there, they are my liquid pearls. And again, that's where I got those from. Crazy Craft Obsession. They had a sale not long ago, and man, I went to town. I had to buy a heap of them. Now, what I'm showing you here is if you put down, so you can put these down like little blobs. You can put them down and you can make all different shapes and textures. I'm just using my pokey tool and I'm putting the dots down, and then what I'm doing is just putting my tip into it, and I'm dragging it out so it looks a bit like a star. And it just gives a different look in the center of the flowers, and it kind of creates like a starfish sort of looking. If you wanted to do it on a beach layout, you could make like little starfish. It's in the center of these flowers. These flowers actually had little lines coming out, so sort of the stamens, if that makes sense. So that's why I thought I wanted it to continue that look. But it's metallic, and the colour I'm actually using is a copper. So it's called, I did write it down. What colour was it called? Did I write it down, or did I completely miss it? I totally didn't write it down. Oh, yes, I did. Copper Pearl. That's what it's called. I knew it was copper something. So it's liquid pearls, and it's called Copper Pearl, and it is beautiful. So that was just sort of, I could have gone with gold, but when I put the copper pearl with the gold metallic matte gold pearls, they actually sort of reflected each other and they matched beautifully. So, and it went with the color of the flowers, because the flowers, I actually thought when I bought this sheet of paper, I actually thought that the flowers would be more of a saltwater taffy, but when I got them in my hand, I realized that they were much warmer than that, and the bundled sage, and then I actually noticed the sort of speckled egg colour in there. So you'd be very surprised. Crepe paper, I don't buy a lot of crepe paper stuff, but when I do, I'm always pleasantly surprised because they do have beautiful artwork. Now, I pulled out these are from a couple of months ago, but I know they have similar ones to these, if not these ones still in the store. These are the rub-ons. Now, these are the 49th and Market Art Options rub-ons. These are the AVESTA ones. The reason I bought a few of them, and I've got some in sort of purple blue tones, pink tones, red tones, and these ones are a more natural tone for just when I'm looking for just a tiny title. So this particular layout, it's all about the flowers and making that paper really pop. So I sort of didn't want to put a giant title on there. So what I decided to do was just put a rub-on onto some white cardstock, cut the ends at an angle and pop it up on some foam tape, and bingo. It looked stunning. Now, it was at this point that I realized I wasn't a fan of, I liked the border, but it needed something else. So here I come in with something completely different. Well, it's not completely different, but I purchased not long ago, just on a whim, I purchased some metallic Sharpies. Now, I've never bought these before, and I just happened to remember that, hang on, I know I've got a copper one there, and after putting down the oxide, when I put the copper Sharpie on top of it, it left this beautiful matte metallic. I know it sounds weird, but it sort of reacted with the oxide ink, and it wasn't shiny, it was matte metallic, just like, and it totally went with the PINKFRESH Studio metallic pearls. Totally worked. So it just added that little bit of extra something interest around the very outside border, and I absolutely love how it turned out. So let me know what you think down below. Let me know if this is something that you would give a try. Now you've seen that it actually isn't that difficult. It's just a matter of fussy cutting out your bits and pieces. Or even if you don't want a fussy cut, you know what? Instead of buying a paper, if you like the ephemera, buy an ephemera pack and create a layout like this on white cardstock. Why not? Give it a go. They've got stacks of ephemera packs over there. See all that texture? See how it's all lifted up and you've got the shadows, but you can get the reflection of the gold, and see all the speckles, and then you've got that texture paste in the background. That's the Ranger, that is made by Ranger. That's the Distress texture paste in matte. So I just absolutely love how that turned out. I think it is stunning. It's not something that I do all the time, but when I do, I like to go to town with it. So check out the border. I think I do give you a close-up of the border here in a minute, so you can see it there next to my hand. It looks amazing. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, guys. Leave me a comment, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.